Edwards and Rodney Dobard, the forwards, and lethal weapon 3 is Bob Sura, Sam Cassell, and the point guard, Charlie Ward. The officials working this one, led by the referee, Jim Bird. Standing at center court, about to throw the ball in the air. He's joined by Art McDonald and Ed Schumer. In the midst of the Tulane huddle, Kerry Clark, in his 4th year as head coach at Tulane. 22-8, the record coming into this one. They won an at-large selection out of the Metro Conference, finished 2nd behind Louisville. And Pat Kennedy in his 7th season at Florida State. He has the Seminoles in the NCAA tournament for the 5th time in the last 6 years. This is the 3rd straight NCAA tournament appearance for the Seminoles, who finished 2nd in the ACC behind North Carolina. As we mentioned, these two teams are familiar with each other. Florida State leads the all-time series 21-11. Tulane and Greene. Florida State in the gold uniforms, designed and paid for by alum Burt Reynolds,
who was an outstanding football player for the Florida State Seminoles.
They're going to try the jump again. Pat Kennedy says that should be our ball, but he's not going to win the argument. Anthony Reed jumping for Tulane. Rodney Dobard for FSU. Dobard kept it in play that time to Charlie Ward. And right away, Dobard is fouled under the bucket by Carlin Hartman.
Florida State's going to look to advance the ball up the court as quickly as they can, looking to score every opportunity. And also Pat Kennedy wants to look for Charlie Ward on every loose ball or rebound.
So Rodney Dobard, 5 seconds into the ball game, is at the line. As you saw, he had 6 blocks to go along with 13 points and 4 rebounds in the opening win over Evansville. Kerry Clark's team got here with the 1st round win over Kansas State. Would have been easier for the coach had they been able to make free throws. They were 4 of 13 from the line in that game. That free throw will count. There was a lane violation against Tulane.
Going to keep an eye on what Florida State does defensively. See if they try to force a turnover here, either by a half-court trap or full court.
They did go with a half-court trap. Tulane able to handle it. DJ Hunter knocking in his first shot. He only played 5 minutes in the first game because of a sprained left ankle.
The ankle did not seem to be bothering him on that jump shot. Not only did he go to his left, but he made a nice push off an acceleration.
Green Wave with a 2-1 lead. Ward guarded tightly by Pointer Williams. Sam Cassell is number 10. Averages 18 points per game. Missed the layup. Dobard with 2 more. He has 3 points, and as we mentioned, the magic number for him is 12. When he gets to 12, Florida State wins every time this year. Hunter off the mark this time. And it's out of bounds off Bob Sura. Tulane will keep it.
Both these teams are so similar in athletic ability. They have guys all about 6'4" to about 6'8" or 6'9", and they go to the boards extremely hard.
On the inbound play, Carlin Hartman muscled in, missed a shot. Again, Sura there to help rebound, and with the 3-guard lineup, they need Sura to rebound. Dobard stripped. Good hands underneath by Greene. Hartman lost it to Cassell. Great play by Cassell to knock it out of bounds off Hartman.
Kerry Clark said he wants to slow the tempo down just enough to keep the score in the 70s and the 80s, but Sam Cassell is going to make a tremendous defensive effort trying to get his team pumped up.
Bob Sura continues in a 3-point shooting slump. Jim Burr looking for help from his fellow officials as the ball went out of bounds. I believe Art McDonald's going to call the foul on that play for a push. He is.
Once again, we saw tremendous hustle by both these teams going after loose balls. You have to get to the loose balls quickly as well as the rebounding boards very, very quickly because of the quickness of both these teams.
Foul was on Rodney Dobard, his first. Each team has committed 1 foul. We played a minute and a half. Dobard sends it away to Sura. Florida State with a 3-2 lead. With a 3-point miss by Sura a moment ago. He's 0 for his last 10 from beyond the line. Cassell the miss. Edwards the follow.
Pat Kennedy put emphasis on making the outside shot for his basketball team.
Hartman Nice feed by Pointer Williams. He saw Hartman had the edge out of the bucket and got it to him quickly. It's 5-4 Seminoles.
Pointer Williams can be a press breaker all by himself, looking always to advance the ball and score.
Edwards down the lane. 4 points for Edwards. 7-4 FSU. Past the 2-minute mark here in Orlando. We expect a track meet, and that's what it is starting out as. Greene, Thursday's hero, off the mark with that shot. Rebounded again by Sura. He's going to keep shooting the three, and the misses continue. He's now 3 for his last 27 from beyond the three-point line.
Don't be surprised next time Bob Sura gets the ball. He may give a head fake and try to drive inside the lane to penetrate and score.
Pointer Williams, a long three. That was at the NBA line.
Tulane's going back into a press, looking maybe for a half-court trap. They're changing the signals.
Then Terry Clark said they try to make Edwards and Dobard beat them. You see Edwards going to the bucket. Sura the tip in. First points for Bob Sura. Florida State back up by 2.
If Bob Sura is able to rebound the ball on the offensive end, he's going to really help Pat Kennedy's basketball team.
Sura averages 6 rebounds a game. Hunter short with it, got his own rebound. Strong with it that time. Dobard corralled it. Sura was about to blow right by Greene. And that's a good foul because Sura was looking at a layup and Greene not stuck his hand in to pick up his first.
That's what we just talked about with Bob Sura. The outside shot's not going. He has the ball on the break, which is exactly what Florida State wants to do. Put his head down and drive to the basket.
16:20 left in the first half here in Orlando. Some of you will be leaving us in under 5 minutes to see St. John's in Arkansas. It's nice that you could stick around to see the lob into Rodney Dobard, who has 5.
Another assist to Charlie Ward, always looking to distribute the basketball.
Greene blocked by Dobard, who had 6 against Evansville.
Charlie Ward is always looking with his head up. This is a design play, looking for Rodney Dobard cutting to the basket, and something that Tulane's going to have to defend the perimeter to not allow that pass to go in.
Coach Clark said we're going to try to take away the outside 3, make the inside 2 beat us, and thus far Dobard has 5 and Edwards has 4. They combined for 9 of the 11 points. Ward almost had the steal. Williams got it back.
Quick hands by Charlie Ward.
Hunter down to 15 on the shot clock, and the shot from Greene from the corner was short. Cassell pulls up for 3. Largest lead, 7 points at 14-7 Florida State.
Another controlled break opportunity by Florida State, finding the right man. Charlie Ward on the break.
Anthony Reed with his first basket of the game. Lane settles back into a 2-3 zone. Sura, that's the point you made, Derek. You might think about driving after a pump fake from 3-point range. He did just that, but then was fouled.
Having watched Bobby Sura a few times this year, that's exactly his pattern. If the outside shot's not going, the next thing is a head fake. Put his head down on drive.
First foul on Reed. We'll be back in just a moment with Derek Dickey back here in Orlando. Florida State off to a 5-point lead by virtue of 50% shooting. Better than 50% at 6 of 11. Tulane out to 33%. And Florida State controlling the boards.
Terry Clark wanted Tulane to be patient on offense, always looking for the extra pass.
Edwards kicks it out to Cassell. And the rebound taken in by Carlin Hartman. Lane with the ball, down by 5. Ward, acrobatic play.
Saving the ball, he tipped it between his legs.
He caught the ball as he was going over the sideline and saved it by bouncing it between his legs, but unfortunately for Florida State, the ball went to a Tulane player, Anthony Reed.
This is a good hands by a football player. Look at Charlie Ward. He's going to keep his balance and pass the ball back in between his legs. A great athletic effort once again, and tremendous hustle.
And the foul was on Sam Cassell, his first. Hartman, junior from Grand Island, New York, near Buffalo. Too strong with it. Greene fouled on the way up by Sura.
Tulane is showing a lot more patience on the offense. They just can't find the bottom of the net at this time, but getting second shots is going to be an opportunity for them to hopefully try to put the ball in the basket.
Byron Wells, number 33, and Derek Carroll, number 21, have been for Sura and Dobard. The foul on Sura was his first. Perry Clark says, not surprisingly, that Tulane needs to do better from the free throw line if they're going to upset Florida State today than they did against Kansas State. They were able to beat the Wildcats despite 4 of 13 from the stripe.
And about 4 or 5 of those were the front ends of 1-and-1, so there were several opportunities missed there.
Greene, who made the big free throw, completing his three-point play with less than a minute to go, that put Tulane ahead this day. He made 1 out of 2, but Reed rebounded the miss and scores.
Anthony Reed has to be effective, not only rebounding, but on the boards. Go after the basketball, get it underneath, and try to score.
Derek Carroll blocked by Hartman. You didn't see Hartman coming up from behind. Reed wound up in press row.
Substitution for Tulane, number 3, Simmons.
Reed, the team leader in blocked shots, in scoring and rebounding. Eldro Simmons, number 3, has checked in for the Green Wave. Wells, good pass. Edwards fouled by Pointer Williams. His first.
Good ball rotation by the Florida State Seminoles, looking for the extra pass, trying to get it underneath. A nice job of execution by Byron Wells, looking in the middle for Doug Edwards.
In the act of shooting, number 32, Doug Edwards.
And the man considered by many to be the finest forward in Florida State history is at the line. Doug Edwards, the senior from Miami. He had a double-double against Evansville with those 14 points and 12 rebounds. His 15th double-double of the season.
Coach Perry Clark may insert Makiba Perry at some point in this game to give that added strength inside on the defensive board.
Edwards has 6. Florida State enjoys a 4-point lead. Tulane came into the tournament having lost 4 of its previous 5. These were 2 teams on a downward trend coming into the NCAA.
Tulane spreading the floor on offense, going to try to create either some one-on-one opportunities or maybe even a backdoor.
Greene, strong cut, missed the short one. Greene fouled this time by Byron Wells.
Green Wave were very fortunate being able to make the cuts off the top of the key. Take a look at this cut coming around the free throw line. Very good job by Matt Greene, coming right down the middle, getting that backdoor cut that we just talked about, doing an excellent job of play calling and execution by Perry Clark.
Greene has it bounce out. He's now 1 of 3 from the line. And this is a familiar scenario here in Orlando for Tulane.
Coaches will look at their stats at the end of the game and wonder, could we have won the game? Did we lose the game at the free throw line? Tulane has struggled in this tournament so far.
Nearly 7 minutes in, Florida State has a 3-point lead. Hunter, after the steal, lays it in. It's a 1-point game. Cassell blocked. Great play by Greene. Greene off to Hunter for a 3. Carroll the board. 12.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Florida State leads 16-15. Ward, fancy pass off to Carroll. Reed the board.
Both teams are playing excellent defense, not allowing second shot opportunities.
Reed for three. He had only attempted one three-point shot in his first 3 years at Tulane. He's tried 101 now this year in his final season of the season. Edwards misses a three. Reed with his fourth rebound.
Again, one shot and out by both these ball clubs.
Veldro Simmons, a freshman from Shreveport, was pestered all the way by Ward and picked it back out to Pointer Williams, who has a cut on his nose, and he was calling that to the attention of Jim Burr. When you're bleeding, you have to leave immediately and be tended to. Timeout. It's a one-point game.
The available anti-lock brakes on the new Geo Prism can help you negotiate driving hazards during hard braking.
Because of concerns about the HIV virus, this year when a player in college basketball is bleeding, he must leave and be tended to and cannot return until the bleeding is stopped, and he is bandaged. Pointer Williams has a bloody nose. There was also blood on the floor, and the Florida State training staff took care of that.
Good eyes, Sean. Good eyes by yourself to find that.
That was right in front of us. Tulane with the ball, down by one. With 11:25 left in the first half. This is second round action of the Southeast region. The winner of this one advances to Charlotte. Sura, after this steal, advances to the bucket.
That basket could help Bobby Sura regain his confidence. The next time down, he may once again, if he receives the ball outside, look to shoot it.
Makiba Perry traveled. We just checked in after the last time out. Well, Sura could use a confidence boost. He's been in a shooting slump, and he only had 7 points in the opening win over Evansville. It was the first time this year that he did not score in double figures.
Well, usually when a shooter gets an easy layup or a dunk shot, especially for a guy like Bob Sura, it can only build his confidence.
He's 2 for 4 from the floor today. Earlier, it was a putback and an offensive rebound. Then that slam dunk a moment ago. Derek Carroll, a three-point miss. Tulane with the ball, down by 3. Simmons. That's a 2-point field goal.
That was a very good shot. You have the defender backpedaling on his heels, pull up for that jumper. That was a very nice opportunity.
Simmons played 29 minutes against Kansas State. Hunter suffering from a sprained ankle. Sam Cassell throws in a 3. He has 6 points on 2 3-pointers. He was 2 for 2 from three-point land in the opening win over Evansville. Simmons. Hartman. Cassell pawing at the ball. Dobard says, take it out of here. And he takes it out there himself. Behind the back, off to Sura, who couldn't handle it. Knocked out of bounds by the Green Wave.
There was a little extracurricular activity by Cassells and Perry after this shot was blocked away. Take a look, and we're going to follow the right side of the screen as this ball is knocked away. Perry and Sam Cassell are going to continue to fall into the stands after this ball goes away, and they can't get loose. But Rodney Dobart is doing an outstanding job after he makes the block with coming down looking for that pass.
Pointer Williams, who went out with a bloody nose a moment ago, is back in and guilty of the foul as he hacked Charlie Ward. 2 fouls on Pointer Williams, the sophomore from New Orleans, playing with the cotton stuffed in his nose. He was trying to strip Charlie Ward. Williams led the Metro in steals this year at 3 a game.
Charlie Ward averages just over 3 steals himself a game, and both these teams have extremely quick feet and quick hands when it comes to loose balls.
Edwards was stripped by the quick hands of Perry. It was saved by Reed. Perry decides to bring it up himself at 6'11". Perry strong with it. Hartman, the offensive rebound. Blocked from behind by Dobard. Sura one-on-one with Williams. Lob for Dobard. He tried to be too fancy, but there was a push called Perry called for pushing Dobard in the back, and Dobard's limping after being fouled.
Once again, we saw the example of extremely quick hands and quick feet by both these teams. Florida State coming up with this loose ball, looking to go down and score, not just get control of it, but push it up to court.
Number 30, Matt Greene.
Matt Greene checks back in for Tulane, and Anthony Reed gets a breather. He could probably use one. Reed played 39 of the 40 minutes against Kansas State on Thursday. Ward, an NBA lob, looked like he was setting up for a three-point shot. Instead, it was a lob attempt to Dobard. It worked earlier, but not that time. Sura, shortly. Edwards and Perry hold it. Held ball, Tulane ball.
On that last lob by Charlie Ward, he was trying to find Rodney Dobard, but Rodney actually injured his ankle the last time down the court and was unable to elevate off the floor, therefore missing the assist attempt by Charlie Ward.
Williams all the way to the bucket. Too hard off the glass. Rebounded by Edwards. Sura through the traffic. Edwards kept it alive for Ward. Dobard is not in the forecourt. That ankle is obviously bothering him. Here he comes into your screen. Edwards falls away. Cassell. Plenty of chances. Edwards tried for the slam dunk of the offensive rebound and missed it. So it's still a 4-point lead for Florida State. The home run pass didn't connect with Carlin Hartman, and there's a foul called against Bob Sura. Two fouls on Sura.
We have not been disappointed by the action up and down by both these ball clubs. See, Rodney Dobard's going to leave the game because of that sprained ankle, but both teams are hustling tenaciously after the loose balls.
Maurice Robinson has replaced Dobard. Robinson, a freshman, wearing number 45. Ticking down toward 8 minutes remaining in the first half. Florida State leads 21-17. Tulane has hit just one of its last 8 shots from the floor. Greene ends that run.
It's a shot that Matt Greene is going to have to take. He's got Bob Sura on him, who is not known for his defense. And Matt is capable of scoring from about 15 feet and in.
That was his first field goal of the game. He's 1 for 5 from the floor. Edwards powers to the bucket and scores. He has 8. He averages 18 a game. Florida State, the only team in the country with 3 players, each averaging better than 18 points per game. Sura, Cassell, and Edwards. Greene. And it's Ward stepping on the end line. Timeout on the floor in Orlando. It's been a wild first 12 minutes plus.
Number 59, Anthony Reed.
You are watching the NCAA Basketball Championship on CBS.
Rodney Dobard is having his left foot taped on the Florida State bench. He was injured moments ago as Bob Sura tried to hit him with a lob pass. Dobard not able to get up for it as he began hobbling. Our report from the bench is that he has suffered an injury to his left big toe, and he should be able to return as soon as the tape job is complete.
It actually happened on that last fast break opportunity. His left foot got touched by Pointer Williams' left foot.
Tulane with the ball, down by 4 as we approach 7 minutes remaining in the first half here in Orlando. Anthony Reed back in, missing from 17 feet. Edwards on the floor with Ward, Cassell, Sura, and Robinson for FSU.
Florida State still unable to hit that outside shot, which would inevitably open up the inside, easier opportunities for a guy like Doug Edwards and Rodney Dobard.
25 on the shot clock. Florida State is only 2 of 6 from three-point land today. Edwards off the mark, taken in by Sura. He bounced it off his own foot. The Green Wave will inbound. 5 turnovers committed by the Seminoles.
Bob Sura is doing a better effort in concentrating on rebounding on the offensive end. He has to do it on the defensive end to keep Florida State in this basketball game.
Greene. Nice shot with the fall away for the senior from Chicago. Florida State in a drought at the moment. They're 1 for the last 9 from the floor. Cassell, the senior from Baltimore, out of famed Dunbar High School, kicked it out to Sura. He missed another 3. Edwards, powerful. Reed got a hand on it.
Seminoles are not having any confidence with that outside shot, still trying to pound it inside. They're going to have to make that to continue open up the paint area for themselves.
They were effective from three-point range with the exception of Sura against Evansville. They were 7 of 13 as a team against the Aces. But over the 4 games prior to that, 3 of which were losses, Florida State shot a combined 19% from beyond the three-point line.
Terry Clark's team is doing a good job playing the perimeter in terms of their defense.
Edwards with another bucket. He's up to 10 points already. That's 37 straight games in double figures for Edwards and 82 of the 89 in his career at Florida State. He's reached double figures. Under 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Florida State by 4.
Tulane has to continue to look for Matt Greene down on the block. He's got Bob Sura on him. Get him the ball in the post. Let him score. Let him work.
Sura got a hand on the pass. 15 on the shot clock. Williams, nice pass. Hartman got it to drop in.
The wide body of Carlin Hartman enabled him to get that shot off.
Edwards, too strong with it. Maurice Robinson won the battle for the rebound as Simmons never got off the floor. Then the steal by Reed. Greene, bounce pass. Reed couldn't handle it. Reed called for the foul. He tried to reach in for the ball, but while he had one hand on the ball, he had the other on Doug Edwards, and that's 2 fouls on Anthony Reed, the senior from Monroe, Louisiana, whose number 55 was retired before the last Tulane home game this year against South Florida. Dobart is putting his shoe back on. Apparently he's able to return momentarily.
For Tulane, number 20, Antonio Jackson.
It's a bonus situation now. That was the 7th team foul of the half against the Green Wave.
At the line, Florida
Edwards, the shooter, he has 10 points and 4 rebounds.
Doug Edwards. 1-1.
He needs 16 more points now to move past George McLeod and into 3rd place on the all-time Florida State scoring list. And bear in mind, this is his 3rd and final year. He did not play for academic reasons as a freshman. 4 for 4 from the line, and Dobart is in the runway. He might just be trying to loosen up that toe.
Testing it out to find out how much strength he has in there.
Ward knocked it out of bounds. And with 3:59 left in the first half, it's Florida State 27, Tulane 23.
There are cars with advanced engineering. There are cars that make you comfortable. There are cars that are well protected. There are cars that protect their occupants well. There are cars equipped the way you want. And cars that are easy to own now. Which one should be your new car? All of the above. Chevy Lumina Euro Sedan. Test drive a Chevy Lumina Euro today at your neighborhood Chevrolet dealer.
It's a silver time. It's a silver place. It's a silver setting at a silver base. Swinging palms, our very best friends. So silver bullet through. They never ever end. In a silver time. Coors Light. In a silver place. So right here now. Silver memory.
Dean Witter believed every success story was unique.
We have a sacred trust to protect our investors,
Whether it's the success of a small business,
to maintain conservative policies,
saving for college,
to put the interest of our clients first.
or planning an early retirement, From getting in on the ground floor to getting all the way to the top, Dean Witter is there to help every client make it every step of the way. Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
Pizza Hut.
Oh, great!
Your other pizza.
Oh, another one! Salad?
Yeah, and you also get...
Let me guess. Dessert.
Dessert.
Wow.
But that...
Get 2 medium pizzas, a salad for $4, even cookies, dinner for $4. Just $13.99. A great reason to stop and smell the pizza.
You forgot to pay me.
Jim Nance, Mike Francesa, Bill Raftery back in New York, and coming out of this timeout, let's take you over to St. John's in Arkansas for a moment and tell you what the story's been in this game so far. Mike, under 10 minutes to go first half. St. John's leads by 7, 26-19.
And as was the case, Jimmy, against Texas Tech, they got off to a fast start, 14-5 lead, and Raftery didn't have any pressure with David Kane running the show against that Arkansas pressure early in the game.
Mike, how long can people watch it? You can't press this club. They run that 1-4, they're patient. On the other hand, Arkansas, in their half-court defense, running all over, St. John's will not be in a hurry in the half-court set.
Well, one thing to watch, Jimmy, Shawnell's got 2 fouls right now.
All right, David Kane has 9. Let's get it back now to Tulane and Florida State. Sean?
Thank you, gentlemen. Well, you got to look at St. John's at Arkansas. Anthony Reed scored on a jumper for Tulane to cut the lead to 2. But on the feed into Doug Edwards, who now has 14 points. Florida State has pushed the lead back to 4 at 29-25 with 3:20 left in the first half.
These teams are playing such great defense. It's been enjoyable to watch, but they're also missing a lot of shots. Both teams are shooting only about 30% from the field at this point.
And while we were away, Rodney Dobard did check back into the lineup for Florida State. He's on the floor, along with Edwards, Carroll, Ward, and Cassell for the Seminoles. That's Derek Carroll with the miss, and the board by McKeeba Perry, the junior from Clinton, Louisiana. This is Antonio Jackson, who has checked in for the first time this afternoon, number 20, sophomore from Chicago.
An opportunity for Tulane to show some patience, try to get the ball down low.
And Dobard whistled for the foul, his second, as he bumped into Reed from behind.
The outside
team has done much from behind the line.
I was just going to say the same thing. The outside shooting by both these teams have been very poor, but the lethal weapon 3, the guards on the outside, only 10 points combined.
Coach Clark said he was going to try to take those 3 away and make the inside men beat them. At the moment, Edwards and Dobard are doing that, with Florida State leading by 4. Make it 2 as McKeeba Perry scores. Perry gave them 18 very strong minutes against Kansas State with 4 rebounds and 2 points, and muscling people underneath.
Perry Clark needs McKeeba Perry to be a strong force inside.
Edwards is having a terrific half. He has 16 points. Edwards going to handle the pass. Perry. How did he get that to Reed? He was triple teamed, but somehow got it through to Anthony Reed. He has 8.
Ball was actually deflected out of the hand of McKeeba Perry over right into the hands of Anthony Reed, who had the presence to be able to put that shot up and get it in the basket.
Edwards off the mark, didn't even get the rim. Edwards has scored the last 10 Florida State points. 2 to tie and 3 for the lead for the Green Wave as we approach a minute and a half remaining in the first half here in Orlando.
Green Wave has shown very good patience the last couple times down the floor, looking in the low post.
Reed hit the deck as Dobard contested the shot. It was an air ball. Cassell, 3. 9 points for Cassell on 3 3-pointers. Tulane showing the patience that they're speaking of moments ago. 30 on the shot clock as you view the game clock. Reed had it rejected by Edwards. Ward, Carroll. And that matches the largest lead for the Seminoles. Cassell the steal. They can hold for the final shot of the half. Cassell all alone. Tulane fell asleep. Undoubtedly, they thought that the Seminoles were going to work it down for the last shot.
You do get relaxed at times, but I thought Florida State did a great job looking to attack.
Harry Clark says you can't allow Florida State to get off on runs. They're on one now. Foul called. It's against Perry of Tulane. Doug Edwards putting the finishing touches on a tremendous first half. He went for the steal and got it. Perry had to foul him. Edwards is going to the line with 3.2 seconds left in the half. Coming up in 3.2 seconds, Prudential Securities at the half with Jim, Bill, and Mike. Continue to give you live looks of the action that is ongoing in the East region. St. John's in Arkansas. Winston-Salem. St. John's, along with Seton Hall, who we'll see here in Orlando later this afternoon, trying to defend the honor of the much-maligned Big East.
It's always great to see what defense does in terms of igniting a team, and Florida State, being their backyard where they're playing here in Orlando, has gotten the crowd involved with this game by a couple of defensive efforts to really spark their offense.
FSU on a 14-4 run. Edwards missed a second. Time for a heave from Greene, and it wouldn't have counted. He would have gone in. Just what Perry Clark was afraid of, a Florida State run to end the half. At the end of the first half, the score is Florida State 39 and Tulane 29. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the second round of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by the people of Nike, who encourage you to just do it. Energizer brand batteries, nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going and going. And by ITT, when it comes to building business at ITT, we're adding more than just our names. CBS Sports presents Prudential Securities at the Hash. Sponsored by Prudential Securities. The most important thing we earn is your trust.
And this is Prudential Securities at the half. That's Bill Raftery, this man right here, Mike Francesa, on his birthday. Jim Nance here also. 8 unanswered to finish the first half for Florida State.
Perry Clark said he was worried about Florida State getting those runs. They hit him with an 8-0 to end the half, and that was a very tough couple of minutes for Tulane.
So a 10-point lead for the Seminoles at halftime. Let's get you out to some live action, East Region action. St. John's has led from the start against Arkansas. James Brown and Billy Packer on the call at Winston-Salem in the first half.
7:03 left in the first half of play. St. John's, the number 5 seed, on top of the 4th seed, Arkansas, by the score of 30-24. James Brown along with Billy Packer, and David Kane has to take a seat on the bench, the starting point guard for St. John's, with 3 personals. And Maurice Brown, the freshman, comes in to replace David Kane. There he is, first team All-Big East.
JB, to give you an example, the difference of experience, you've got David Keene averaging 36 minutes a game in playing time, Maurice Brown 4 minutes a game. So now the load is going to be very heavy on Brown. And somebody held him.
Called, and you know that's exactly what David Kane was complaining about earlier, but you said out of frustration, Kane pushed off and picked up that first foul that way.
Right.
St. John's blistering from the floor, also at the free throw line a lot more frequently than Arkansas. The rebounds in favor of St. John's. Kane has to sit down, although he's got 11 points to his credit.
And you can see shooting 62% to St. John. Arkansas used to holding opponents down below 45%.
Maurice Brown, a lightning quick 5'9" guard who was a New York City Public School Player of the Year, and recognizes that he would not see much time this year because of Kane. The apparent floor leader of the future. Right now, he's got to do it today.
Well, one of the things he has going for him, and that is he's built very low to the floor, and that'll help with some dribble penetration.
And Hawkins shooting very far out on the floor for a 3. Arkansas within 2.
Oh, there's the steal by McDaniel.
Foster, strong rebound, and keeps it high this time.
Nice pivoting by Foster. Very nice pivoting by Foster to get out of trouble.
Fred Lyson in as well for St. John's. This is Derek Brown. In and out. Rebounded by Shepard. This is what the Razorbacks love to do.
Boy, McDaniel really sat down to steal that ball on the dribble.
And St. John's, Billy, also did a nice job of transitioning from offense to defense.
5 seconds, big call. Nobody broke to the basket.
Good defense by Brown. As we take a look at the bracket here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina moves to the Sweet 16. A victory 45 points worth over Rhode Island. Next up for the Sweet 16 will be the victor here between St. John's and Arkansas.
Of course, in that first game, it just was too much of everything by North Carolina, and primarily size. Went right over the top of Rhode Island, frustrated them early and often.
Middleton, Minland, Maurice Brown, Lyson, and Derek Brown, the 5 for St. John's in red.
Maurice Brown was hit in the eye, and he really doesn't see real well right now. You notice how different the pace of the game is with Brown in there. You know, Kane was able to get all other fellas kind of controlled. Now there's a little bit of frenzied activity by St. John's. Not what they want against this Arkansas club.
Somewhat the same kind of skills possessed by both players, but a total difference in terms of experience.
Sure.
As you mentioned. And that foul is called on Stewart. Second personal on Dwight Stewart. Minland at the free throw line.
Here's what we were talking about, the type of sub that St. John's has. 6'5", crash the boards, good strength, total overall game.
The only player in St. John's history, Billy, to major in pharmacy. And he bangs home the second shot. 32-29, St. John's 5:39. Left and a half to play.
Minland on Stewart down inside, giving up about 3 inches.
And Brown picks up the foul, reaching in on the shot by Shepard. Well, Ernie Banks, as you recall at the top of the day, said, let's play 4. Game 3 of the sequence coming up. Illinois, Vanderbilt, BYU, Kansas, Western Kentucky. Ralph Willett will be taking on Seton Hall, a team that is seriously on a roll for Hall.
You know, Shepard's going to pick up 2 shots on this one, and it really was the kind of case where Brown probably should have let him take that shot. You know, he was off balance. It would have been a flying shot going across the lane. Tough to make.
And you look at Mo Brown, Bill Raftery, very central figure right now with Kane on the bench with 3 fouls.
Well, Mike Francesa, who's a St. John's grad, could play in this game. Just beat the timeline.
Wait a minute,
Be patient, move the ball around on the offensive end. Arkansas likes to rev it up, trap, take the ball out of the guard's hands. You have to have good composure. You must make them work on the defensive end. You've had a few 10-second violations.
Yeah, more than a few, as a matter of fact, Ralph. But as you see the play inside, Jimmy, for Kane on the bench next 5 minutes, St. John's has to survive because he plays 36 minutes a game. They have to have him on the floor. The worst thing that could have happened was 3 fouls, and that's what happened in this game. So they have to somehow get to half. There's 5:16 on the clock.
I'll give you the scouting report. Good outside shooter.
That's it.
Can't run the floor.
Half-court players, strictly.
Stays down there. We'll continue on the road to the Final Four on CBS in a moment.
CBS Sports presents Prudential Securities at the Hash. Sponsored by Prudential Securities. The most important thing we earn is your trust.
Lisa Hartman Black, Without a Kiss Goodbye, Sunday.
We'll return to the Orlando Arena for the start of the second half. After this message and a word from your local station, you're watching CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the second round of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Pontiac and your nearby Pontiac dealers. We are driving excitement. Your Allstate agent for home, auto, life, and business insurance. You're in good hands with Allstate. And by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the special delivery company.
The road to the Final Four sometimes takes an unorthodox route through Orlando, Florida. Inside Orlando Arena, the Florida State Seminoles closed the first half on a 14-4 run. They enjoy a 10-point lead over Tulane. Sean McDonough with Derek Dickey. The strategy that Coach Clark talked Thursday night in Charlotte to take on the winner of the game between Seton Hall and Western Kentucky. And that's coming up next here in Orlando this afternoon.
Tulane Green Wave, the second half, has to continue to play good defense on the perimeter and also work on their shot selection on the offensive end.
Edwards' pass intended for Sura was deflected out of bounds. Doug Edwards was the key player in the first half. He had 17 points and 5 rebounds. Sura finally gets a 3 to go down. He had missed his last 12 prior to that one.
Even though it's a carryover from the first half, Bob Sura with making that steal and the dunk attempt in the first half, that three-point shot might be back in his confidence area.
Byron Wells called for the foul, his second. The one thing you have to like about Bob Sura, despite the slump, as Coach Kennedy points out, he's not going to get bashful. He's going to keep shooting from out there until they start going in.
Bob Sura is a scorer. He will put the ball up whether he's hot or cold, and you know, you don't have to count on him being slow or hesitating about ever taking a shot.
Garland Hartman missed the first. The free throw woes continue for Tulane. They're only 3 for 6 this afternoon. And they're down by 12 in the opening seconds of the second half. Sura just made one. That's an air ball. And it hit Wells and went out of bounds. Tulane will have it.
Sura out of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Never found a shot he didn't like, is what he told me yesterday.
He was not very highly recruited while he was in high school in Wilkes-Barre. As a matter of fact, Pat Kennedy's coach when he played in college, Ed Donahue, King's College in the Wilkes-Barre area, kept calling Coach Kennedy, say, send somebody from your staff up here to get a look at this high school kid. He's terrific. And when they first went up to watch him play, they weren't all that impressed. Coach Donahue kept calling down to Florida State, said, I'm telling you, this guy can play. Finally, Coach Kennedy agreed to give Sura a scholarship, and here he is, doing a lot of things well, some things not so well. That surprise pass eluded the grasp of Byron Wells.
When you have a person who has the creativity of a Bob Sura, sometimes he puts a little bit too much French pastry or mustard is what we call it on the pass, and Byron Wells was not ready for that pass, even though it did hit him in the hands.
Hartman hits the fall away, and after the pass went through the hands of Wells at the other end, he went to the bench replaced by Dobard, so he has been able to loosen up that toe and get back into action. There's Dobard along the end line, stripped by Reed. Florida State will have it out of bounds.
Rodney Dobard's known for his exceptional leaping ability, going to the basket very strong that time, even though he had the ball stripped away, showed no signs of the injury.
Dobard has played in more games than any player in Florida State history. That pass from Ward was off the mark, taken in by Sura. Today is game number 120 at Florida State for Dobard, who missed a short one. Then Edwards was fouled as he put it back up. Garland Hartman saying, my fault, my fault. Was it his foul, is the question. It was his second.
Barry Clark seems to be upset at the defense that was played out on the perimeter against Charlie Ward, who made that pass. Charlie just put a little bit too much heat on the ball, but Rodney Dobard unable to come up with it. Doug Edwards does find the handle.
It's 17 in the first half. He's now 5 of 7 from the free throw line. The lead is 11 for FSU, nearly 2 minutes into the second half. Greene to Williams. They're on the floor with Reed, Hartman, and Simmons for Tulane. And again today, G.J. Hunter hasn't been much of a factor for Coach Clark. Apparently that sprained ankle is bothering him, and as Coach Clark said yesterday, if you're not 100%, you can't play against Florida State.
Yeah, there's no reason to put somebody out against Florida State because they run up and down the court so fast, and they use their hands to try to constantly strip the ball away.
Simmons off the glass. Greene the offensive rebound. Edwards probably altered that shot. Gobard knocked it out. Tulane will keep it. Pat Kennedy mentioned his college coach Ed Donahue at King's College in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. It was Coach Donahue who started Pat Kennedy into coaching, and somewhat by surprise when Pat was still playing at King's College. 2 years into a playing career, there's a turnover by Tulane. He was boarding the bus one night to go play in a game at the Palestra in Philadelphia. Coach Donahue grabbed him by the arm and said, "Pat, you're not going to play tonight. You're getting off the bus. You're going to go scout our next opponent. Here's a ticket and some directions." And from that point on, Pat Kennedy was a coach.
That's a great story. And Pat Kennedy was also an assistant coach under Jim Valvano up at Iona College, and still has a very close relationship with Jimmy, and we really do wish he and his family the best.
Edwards. Gobard is up on the rim. Finally, Hartman corrals him. Coach Kennedy said the thing he learned most while he was coaching under Valvano was to always stay positive, and obviously that attitude is helping Jim Valvano now. Another turnover. Edwards the steal. This is 2-on-0. Sura made sure of the two.
Initiated by Doug Edwards with making the steal, getting his hands on the ball, looking for the outlet pass.
Sura first got his hand on it, then it was Edwards to Cassell. Hartman couldn't quiet the crowd. Bodies hitting the deck on the rebound action. It was Cassell who went down hard. It will be Tulane ball.
Take a look at Tulane as they're trying to get the ball down and low, but Doug Edwards is able to get the steal and the strip away. Charlie Ward's going to get credit for another assist, but Bob Sura once again, just good hustle, good action by the Florida State Seminoles. By making a couple of steals, it really has ignited their offense.
Hartman and Edwards need to be separated. The 4 games here in Orlando, plus this one today, have all been wonderfully officiated. There hasn't been really a single complaint about the officiating in the 2 days here in Orlando.
And a sign of good officiating usually is when you don't even notice them. Williams
knocked out of bounds. Tulane will keep it. Just as the teams earn their way here, so do the officials. They're evaluated during the season. The ones receiving the highest grades advance to the NCAA tournament. These gentlemen have demonstrated here this weekend they are the best. Sura got a hand on another pass. Pat Kennedy wanted a foul. He thought Sura was bumped by Greene as they went for the free ball.
Substitution for Tulane.
We're at Orlando Arena in Orlando, Florida. This city is hosting NCAA tournament action for the first time. It's the home of the Orlando Magic of the NBA. Tulane battling Florida State in second-round action of the Southeast region. Edwards, another block. Another man ahead of the field is Sura. Tulane allowing the Seminoles to sneak behind them time and time again.
Well, what Florida State is doing is playing the passing lane, guessing and anticipating a little bit more, going after loose balls and looking up the court to try to score.
And they nearly had another, but a foul's called against Charlie Ward. We'll be back in just a moment. It didn't look like they'd be making a return visit to the field of 64 when Kim Lewis, their leading scorer last year, went down in the second game of this season with a broken left tibia. At the time, Coach Clark said he was in a deep state of depression, thought it was going to be what he called a survival year. He said, I would have been happy if we won 15 or maybe 16 games and got into the NIT.
Well, this is the time of the game when Perry Clark would look normally to bring in what he called the posse, a group of 5 players, usually led by Kim Lewis, to try to ignite the defense and get them back in this basketball game.
Tulane executed its inbound play perfectly. They got it to Greene right underneath, but a couple of Knowles went up and contested. And it's a held ball. Perry Clark didn't like the call. On the alternating possession, it goes right back to Tulane. This is Carter Nichols, number 31, who was checked in for the first time. Hartman. It falls off. Greene way up in the air, and then he was fouled as he went back toward the rim. Doug Edwards hit him on the floor. That's his first.
Matt Greene did not get involved as much as Perry Clark would like in the first half offensively, 2 for 7 from the floor, but he told us the other day that he was a little disappointed. He lives in Chicago. He was concerned whether his grandmother could see the games up there.
Akiva Perry back in, replacing Carlin Hartman. Greene, just a 53% free throw shooter, makes the first. Two free throws by Matt Greene of Tulane, cut Florida State's lead to 15 points, 49-34 with 15-20 left here in Orlando. This is second round action in the Southeast region. Charlie Ward the lob, Rodney Dobard the dunk. That's the second time they've worked that play to perfection.
That play is indicative of what Florida State's doing. They've played great defense the first half, ignited it with some steals on the defensive end. Tulane has to get back into this game. They played good defense early, not able to get in it because they've given the ball away for easy layups.
Like that one. Not quite as easy as some, but 15 points for Sam Cassell. This is the largest lead for the Seminoles, 19 points, built by a 22-5 run that extends back to the first half.
Another outstanding pass by Charlie Ward. So Rodney Dobard, who missed part of the first half because of an injured toe, showed no signs of the injury on that play.
LaBeldro Simmons returns to the Tulane lineup for Matt Greene. Williams and Simmons the backcourt now. Nichols, Reed, and Perry up front for the Green Wave. Nichols lost it, as did Simmons. Florida State has it back. Tulane, this half for Coach Clark, is 1 for 10 from the field. There's some concern in New Orleans, Derek, that this could be Perry Clark's last game as Tulane coach. Rumors continue to swirl that Bobby Crimmins will go to South Carolina. Perry Clark, his former assistant at Georgia Tech, might return to Georgia Tech as the head coach. Three-pointer for Sam Cassell. He's up to 18, matching his season average.
Well, in talking with Perry Clark, he talked about rebuilding, and we're going to talk some more after that.
Timeout, largest lead for the Seminoles.
So there's the Accord with air, automatic, and ABS for 19,700.
Come on.
And then there's the Grand Am with all that for 5,000 less.
Grand Am just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's affordable. Drives great. Sporty.
It's sporty.
Monthly payments will fit. We get free 24-hour roadside assistance. Besides, we like the Grand Am better anyway, right?
Yeah. Let's get a salesperson.
Yeah.
Ours is truly an amazing planet. 169 countries, 24 time zones, and 1,700 American Express travel offices worldwide. In places like Kuala Lumpur or Sri Lanka. Actually, there's 2 there. So you can replace plane tickets, traveler's checks, a lost card, even in Abu Dhabi.
But you can't get your mail forwarded there.
As a matter of fact, you can. Now, with a Visa card, you could probably get help at some foreign bank. But with American Express, you can get help virtually everywhere on the globe. Well, not everywhere.
It has a powerful overhead valve engine, smooth 5-speed transmission, has the best resale value of any make, and comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. The cost, just $1,999. It's the John Deere 12.5 horsepower STX 38 lawn tractor at just $19.99. It's our lowest price ever.
Hocus pocus. It seems everyone is offering financial advice. We put our faith in research, analysis, and experience. Prudential Securities. The most important thing we earn is your trust.
If there's a problem getting your 800 calls, AT&T guarantees to reroute them within 5 minutes to another phone, even if it's in your home.
Hello,
Sam Salmon.
In Nome, one of the 800 reasons to choose AT&T 800 service, the best in the business.
Thursday, April 1st. Don't miss the show critics say is better than LA law used to be.
Jimmy getting shot is no coincidence.
Picket fences, moving to Thursdays.
We were talking before the timeout about the possibility of Perry Clark returning to Georgia Tech as head coach should Bobby Crimmins depart that school to South Carolina. And Coach Clark has done a very graceful job of deflecting those questions as the week has gone along. Eldro Simmons fouled as he started to drive, but with the job that he has done, the program at Tulane did not exist for 4 years in the mid-'80s because of a couple of scandals. They brought it back and started from scratch in 1988, hired this man to do it. And 4 years into the resurrection of the program, they've had 2 appearances in the NCAA tournament.
Well, Perry Clark's talking about rebuilding. He talked about Kim Lewis coming back. He's also talking about a great recruiting class, talking about a new facility downtown New Orleans as well.
Nearly 6 minutes into the second half, Florida State enjoys its largest lead, 22 points, cut to 21 by the free throw. Florida State has outscored Tulane 17-6 here in the second half. Florida State has hit its last 6 from the field, while Tulane has won for its last 10.
Florida State has built this lead by playing great defense, playing the passing lanes, forcing turnovers, and hitting open shots.
Bob Sura missed the rim, but Edwards was there to follow, and he has 20. They go along with 8 rebounds.
Edwards with the basket.
Akiva Perry, short with it. Edwards batted it to Cassell. Good hands by Williams as he stripped Dobart. It's 3-on-1 for the Green Wave. Nice passing. Perry and Greene, and it's Greene with the basket. 10 points for Greene. It gets the lead under 20.
Green Wave is going to have to have a lot more of that to get back in this basketball game.
Cassell, acrobatic catch of the pass from Ward. Ward still has not attempted a shot today. Cassell gives it to Ward. Dobart, the finish off the fancy feed from the quarterback, Charlie Ward.
Florida State's doing an exceptional job with passing, stealing the basketball.
Williams lays it in. Five points for Pointer Williams, the sophomore from New Orleans, who was the Metro Conference Freshman of the Year last year. We talked about the recruiting job Perry Clark has done to build this Tulane program. This is the first time in 4 years that Tulane did not have the Metro Conference Freshman of the Year.
We've talked before about Florida State being almost a Jekyll and Hyde type team. If this team continues to play this way, they have a chance to advance into this tournament a little bit further.
Dobart with the score. I think, Derek, they have the talent when they're playing well to win the whole thing. When they're playing well as they have in the 2 games of this tournament, they can beat anybody.
I don't think there's any question about it. They have all the ingredients. Pat Kennedy is still concerned about making their outside shots, but the way they play defense, they can force enough turnovers to get easy shots in transition.
Anthony Reed with a 3 for Tulane. He has 11 points. Tulane back into a zone, and now they're extending it out a bit. Edwards with 20 on the shot clock, gave it to Cassell. 11:15 remaining here in Orlando. Sura threw it away.
Number 32, number 20, Antonio.
Charlie Ward is a fun player to watch. When the team's going well, when they're passing, making steals, rebounding, slam dunking, he's the man. He's the one that distributes the basketball and does have that calming effect to the rest of the Seminole basketball team.
He hasn't scored, but he has dished out 6 assists. And set up 4 other Florida State players to reach double figures. Edwards has 20, Cassell 18, Dobart and Sura with 11 each. Nearly midway through the second half now, and Florida State is up by 20. Simmons. Nice pass. Antonio Jackson, a bad shot. Reed And Edwards the rebound. His 9th. Sura still firing threes. He was unlucky that time. It went spinning out into the arms of Antonio Jackson. Hardman trying to get it back to Jackson. It was deflected. Just about every pass by Tulane today has been.
We have another outstanding matchup coming up here this afternoon. Western Kentucky against Seton Hall. Both teams are playing good basketball, pressing, trapping, just like we're seeing here this early this afternoon.
Really, in contrast to these two teams, which are both struggling coming into the NCAA tournament, both Western Kentucky and Seton Hall have been on a roll. The Pirates have won 12 in a row, and Western has won 7 straight. Dobard fouled by Hartman. And the Pirates were out in the arena watching for a while. Now they're retreating to their dressing room to get ready for game 2 of the day here in Orlando. Seton Hall against Western Kentucky. The Hilltoppers eliminated Memphis State and Anthony Hardaway in round 1, while Seton Hall cruised to a win over Tennessee State.
Number 34, Rodney Dobard of the Seminoles.
It's going to be an interesting contrast with those two teams, Western Kentucky and Seton Hall. Seton Hall is a half-court team. Western Kentucky, just like Florida State, wants to press and run the ball up and down the court every opportunity.
Dobard makes the first free throw. He has 12 points. As we've mentioned a couple of times, when he reaches 12 for Coach Kennedy, Florida State almost always wins. They're 15-0 this year when Dobard has at least 12 points. 35-3 in Dobard's career when he reaches a dozen. Carter Nichols for 3. The senior with his first points in this NCAA tournament.
Carter's out of DeRuyter, Louisiana. Designated three-point shooter.
They could use some threes. Tulane down by 19. Under 9.5 minutes remaining. Nichols bodying Sura, and he's whistled for the foul. Second round coverage coming up later this afternoon. Illinois and Vanderbilt, BYU and Kansas, and Western Kentucky and Seton Hall are offering from Orlando. Dobard fouled again, this time by Greene. 2 fouls on Matt Greene. He's in his second year at Tulane after 2 years at Pensacola Junior College here in the state of Florida. Sam Cassell back in. Lorenzo Haynes returns to the bench.
Pat Kennedy expressed his concerns about matchup problems against a team like Tulane, but I think they're a difficult team to match up against because they have such great athletes, guys who are capable of running, shooting, slashing, guarding anybody out on the court, and also they can score inside.
You mentioned Nichols was the designated three-point specialist. He knocked in his second 3, following the three-pointer by Cassell, who is 5 for 5 from beyond the three-point line this afternoon. Ward with his first shot and his first basket.
That's a positive sign for Pat Kennedy because Charlie Ward has the injured left shoulder. Was able to get that shot off the glass with his left hand, being a right-handed player.
Hartman, too strong. Nichols got a hand on it. Williams bounced to the bucket. He has 7. Lane gets it back under 20 again with 8:20 remaining. Pick ball by Greene. They'll reset the 45-second clock.
Number 55, Anthony Reed.
I mentioned Illinois and Vanderbilt coming up later this afternoon out in Salt Lake City. There's the rest of the bracket. Temple and the big surprise of the first round, Santa Clara, at approximately 7:02 Eastern time tonight.
That's what's been fun about this tournament, Sean. Anybody can beat anybody, and people look at Santa Clara as being an upset over Arizona, but apparently they came ready to play, rebounded the basketball, and made some easy shots.
Dobard the miss, but it was kept alive by Edwards. Temple out of the Atlantic 10 advancing. All 4 of their teams won first-round games. Rhode Island went out today at the hands of North Carolina. Still have 3 alive to get to the Sweet 16. Sura has the Noles on their way to the Sweet 16. He has 13 points, and he'll go to the line.
That's magnificent concentration by Bob Sura. He was held to only 7 points against Evansville, but he's come out looking to score this game and using his great leaping ability to be able to go up, hang in the air, look for the pass that's not there, but get that shot off and put it in the basket.
One shot, gentlemen! Foul was on Simmons, his first. Falls off for Sura. Late Tulane has been looking for threes. Williams was looking for 2, and Edwards said, 3 on 1. Edwards missed it. Sura put it up over the rim. Edwards missed the one-handed jam. But they're still having fun here in Orlando. Florida State leads by 21. And Tulane with the ball. It's Pointer Williams on the floor with Simmons, Nichols, Greene, and Reed. Another steal. Dobard intercepted the pass by Simmons, intended for Reed.
See Sam Cassell with the basketball. He's had to make a couple of adjustments this year. When Charlie Ward was injured with the shoulder problem, Sam had to step up and play the point guard. He's normally a scoring guard, but has been very, very flexible when Pat Kennedy has called on him to do whatever's necessary to help the team win.
Florida State has been out and running with 16 fast break points. Equal weapon 3 to 3 guards Sura, Ward, and Cassell. A little bit quiet in the first half, but you can see from the numbers that were on your screen, they've picked it up here in the second with 36 points combined, 16 rebounds, 5 steals. Sura bidding for 2 more, and he was fouled by Nichols. Unless you were Evelyn Wood, you probably didn't have time to digest the rest of the game summary. So here it is again with Edwards pacing Florida State with a double-double, his 16th of the year. Florida State has rejected 7 Tulane shot attempts.
Florida State simply done it on the defensive end. They've played the passing lanes very, very well. And if they continue to play at this level, you and I just talked about it, they're going to go very far in this tournament. And Pat Kennedy told us that he's very happy with the way his team has played. They've come together. They had some injuries earlier. They had Chuck Graham go down with a torn ACL. They also had their 7-foot center, Andre Reed, get his hand smashed in the door. And he's been out for the entire season.
Slew of injuries. In addition to those, Edwards missed a couple of games with a broken finger. Jared Carroll had a broken foot. Charlie Ward, the shoulder injury. Dobard blocked another. His 4th. He had 6 against Evansville on Thursday.
With the shot coming in, Rodney Dobard still showing no signs of the sprain of his toe, doing a great job at blocking the ball, but knocks it out of bounds this time. And what Rodney usually does is blocks the ball and keeps it in play.
Reed the miss. Sura helped out with the rebounding to deflect it to Edwards. 22-point lead for the Seminoles. Under 6.5 minutes remaining. That's a goaltend against Reed. Credit the basket to Sam Cassell. He has 23 points. Coach Kennedy says Cassell has the potential to score 30 points every night. Williams didn't call back, but it went in. From 3-point range, 10 points for Pointer Williams.
He just winked over to his bench. I don't think he called that either. Whenever you take a shot from the top of the key, you always try to get the front of the rim.
Tulane really tightening up the man-to-man defense now, trailing by 21 with under 6 minutes remaining. Good patience by FSU with the big lead. They've run the shot clock down to 16.
Shot
for 3. An NBA 3. He's 6 for 6 from beyond the line and has 26 points this afternoon.
Pat Kennedy's wanted outside shooting. Think he's found the right person to be able to take that shot. Bob Sura, his teammate, is not hitting it.
Foul foul was on Doug Edwards, his second. Sam Cassell having a great game for Florida State this afternoon. He has the name Steve written on the back of his sneakers. That's for his friend Steve Lonely, a childhood pal from Baltimore who's been paralyzed from the waist down since an accident 5 years ago. Sam says he's dedicating his playing to Steve Lonely because Steve can't play himself. We'll be back in just a moment. Sold out Orlando Arena coming up next on CBS. Illinois and Vanderbilt, BYU and Kansas, and here in Orlando, Western Kentucky will take on Seton Hall. Florida State with a 24-point lead as we approach 5 minutes remaining. Hope is fading fast for the Final Four. We have a hometown team as one of the participants. New Orleans is hosting the Final Four this year. The Privateers went out last night. Tulane on the verge of extinction here. And in Chicago, BYU and Kansas is the first game of the day. And then the matchup many are talking about is the most appealing in the second round. Cal with Jason Kidd against Duke and Bobby Hurley.
Jason Kidd is a tremendously talented player. He's just a freshman. I have a feeling that Bobby Hurley is going to give the freshman a little bit of what experience is all about.
5 minutes remaining.
Kansas is a very good basketball team. They've almost been a Jekyll and Hyde type team, but you know, they're capable of playing very, very well if they can get consistent scoring from the outside. They've done well in terms of distributing the basketball, but most of their scores are actually coming inside the arc.
Florida State running time. 13 on the shot clock. Cassell, look away past Edwards. He bowled over Nichols. There was no whistle. 22 for Doug Edwards.
There was no blood on that, so I guess they chose not to stop it.
Nichols got up looking for a foul. This is the largest lead for Florida State. And things continue to go poorly for Tulane. Greene couldn't handle the pass from Reed. 12th turnover by the Green Wave.
A little bit of contact by Doug Edwards, and no foul was called, but
might have even been an extra step in there as well.
I think it was a good no call. As you said, the referees have done an outstanding job.
Great. In every game here in Orlando, Cassell had it blocked by Reed. Reed is called for the foul. It's his third.
His third.
This will be the final game at Tulane for Anthony Reed. He has started every game since they brought basketball back to Tulane 4 years ago. Today was his 118th consecutive start. He's Tulane's all-time leading scorer.
Two other contributing seniors for the Tulane Green Wave, Matt Greene and also Carter Nichols, will be playing their last game. And G.J. Hunter.
Cassell perfect from beyond the three-point line, so these 15-foot shots should be easy for him. He has 27 points. Reed, in 4 years, was 4 times an All-Metro Conference selection. First team this year and as a sophomore, second team All-Metro as a freshman and junior.
And freshman of the year in the Metro Conference his first year.
Williams lost the handle, got it back, and scored. He has 12. And backcourt pressure applied by the Green Wave with under 4 minutes remaining.
Foul is called on number 4.
And the foul's on Pointer Williams, his fourth. When our game is over here in Orlando, we'll be sending many of you to the finish in Winston-Salem between St. John's and Arkansas. Charlie Ward at the line. Bounces the first one in. He'll have surgery on that injured left shoulder when the basketball year is over. He will not participate in spring football practice, but they do expect him to be ready for the start of the fall football campaign for Coach Bobby Bowden. And many predict that he'll be one of the leading candidates for the Heisman Trophy this coming football season. He did finish 6th in the balloting last year. Greene with the slam. He has 12.
Charlie Ward actually has 3 T-shirts on He has a white shirt underneath the yellow shirt that he's wearing, and then his uniform shirt.
Sura. 16 for Sura, so he's back on track after a down game in round 1 against Evansville. Greene short from three-point range. Cassell pushes. Surprised that all the starters are in for Florida State with 3 minutes remaining and a 27-point lead?
No, I'm not. Excuse me. No, I'm not, because Pat Kennedy is trying to utilize his time right now and get some production from his players. Let them get some game time, let them get some minutes, and hopefully get them ready to advance to the next round.
They've done a very good job lately of running time off the clock and then getting a good shot opportunity. 13 on the shot clock as Ward lays it in. He faked the pass to Dobard to freeze the defender and laid it in. He has 5 points.
I think we've seen that fake in a handoff before to a halfback.
A play action pass. Williams the score at the other end. Edwards was ahead of the field, but it was deflected out of bounds. Florida State will inbound.
Charlie Ward coming right into your screen. Play action. Call it with the left hand. Nice job by Charlie Ward.
Well, Matt Greene shouldn't feel too lonely. There are plenty of linebackers who've been faked out by Charlie Ward ball fakes.
Oh, there's no question about it, but he does a good job. Look away, no look passes, no look dribbles. Charlie Ward, complete basketball player.
Well, a great career at Tulane is over for Anthony Reed. And the hand was for several of the Florida State starters as well as they took a seat. Actually, the only starter who went to the bench was Dobard, and he got the big hand. Edwards missed it as he collided with Pointer Williams. Now Ward. It was Maurice Robinson who checked in for Dobard. Under 2 minutes remaining, Florida State leads by 30.
Seminoles going to utilize the clock until the next dead ball and get some of their subs in.
15 on the shot clock, a minute and a half left in the game. Cassell. Ward, 3. He has 8 all in the second half. Williams. The follow by Greene. Greene's had a solid game on an otherwise tough day for Tulane. Florida State has called timeout. Pat Kennedy wants to get the starters off the floor. Don't take any chances with injuries. When we're heading to the Sweet 16, Florida State advances to the Sweet 16. Thursday night in Charlotte, they'll meet the winner of our next game here in Orlando between Western Kentucky and Seton Hall. Seminoles 1 minute away from their second consecutive trip to the Sweet 16. Scott Shepard has checked in wearing number 15. He has the ball for FSU, guarded by Jackson. Tulane's season is going to end at 22-9, and that was exactly their record when the season ended in the second round of the NCAA tournament a year ago. St. John's at Arkansas, 4-point game now with better than 9 minutes remaining, and as soon as this one is finished, we'll be sending you to that game. Maurice Robinson, the freshman from Little Rock, with his first point. Hartman out of bounds. Tulane will keep it. They went out off Derek Carroll. Well, the seniors who are departing Tulane can be proud of what they accomplished in building this program from scratch to one of the best in the country. Matt Pop, seeing his first action of the tournament, missed the shot, then his pass was deflected out of bounds.
Brilliant career by Anthony Reed, and Perry Clark should be very proud of the effort that the team has played so far this season. They did a great job getting to this point. Most people didn't even think they could make it this far.
And in the coming days, we'll find out if this is Perry Clark's final game as Tulane coach. Pat Kennedy goes back to the Sweet 16. And 24 wins this year, now the most for Florida State in the 7 years of Pat Kennedy's tenure. The Chevrolet players of the game are Anthony Reed of Tulane and Sam Cassell of Florida State. Cassell has...
Looking sharp. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are.
Only Gillette Sensor has spring-mounted twin blades that adjust to your face. A shave this close, this safe was never this easy. Sensor, and now there's Gillette shaving gel with advanced lubricants for an incredibly smooth shave.
If you depend on your truck to last, here's news you should never forget. Of all the Chevy trucks built in the last 10 years, over 98% are still going strong. That's more than Ford, more than Toyota, more than Nissan. Over the years, no other truck is that dependable, foreign or domestic. Only Chevrolet, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Too many businesses today leave their customers up in the air. But Allstate is different. Your Allstate agent's job is to keep you secure for years to come. To stick by you so that you stay with Allstate for your car insurance and home insurance. For years. For life. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Gillette introduces the best shaving gel ever. New Gillette Gel. Advanced lubricants. Easier razor glide. An incredibly smooth shave. Now, the best gel is Gillette Gel.
Now you can have a firmer fanny with the Fanny Sizer from Firmco. Just shake, shake, shake your way to a shape.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
If you love adventure, travel to a time when adventure was a way of life.
Ryan! Dr. Guy!
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, Saturday on CBS.
16 minutes to play. Evansville down by 15. University of Evansville, one of the smallest of the 300 schools that play Division I college basketball, with an undergraduate enrollment of only 2,300. It hasn't prevented them from having a rich college basketball tradition. Hoopman drops it in the bucket on a good feed from Schreffler. First points of the half for Hoopman, 12 in the ball game.
Last time down the court, Parrish Casebeer made the shot from the outside. That play inevitably opens up the inside for the big guy, Sasha Hoopman, to be able to get that layup.
And Jermaine Ball called for the foul away from the ball.
Take a look at Sasha Hoopman. He's going to receive this pass. He almost gets called for a push-off, but he does maintain his composure, being able to retrieve that ball and also get the finish. But Evansville has to continue to work for higher percentage shots to get back in this game.
He scores 5 straight points to try to creep back into it. If you're an Aces fan, one thing that has to be heartening is that they are a good three-point shooting team. Cassell drives into 3 for Florida State. He has 18 points. That's his season average. St. John's, that battle in the East region has been nip and tuck all the way with Texas Tech. There's Hoopman again to drop it in. Number 2 seed in the Midwest. Kansas State leading Ball State by 5 at halftime. Imagine just like Princeton over the years, Ball State's another one of those teams that the coaches groan when they see Ball State next to their team in the brackets. Sura, a little bit too high off the glass. Here come the Aces again, down by 14, and Schreffler was fouled by Cassell. 2 fouls on Cassell.
Foul is called on number 10, Sam Cassell. His second, team first.
Kansas, Derek, one of the many teams around the country given a shot at winning it all as the 2 seed in the Midwest. They're playing first today in Chicago. They'll meet the winner of the initial game between BYU and SMU.
Kansas is another team that has excellent talent, but again, they have to come to play. You know, they're almost scary like Florida State with the talent that they have, but being ready to play the first round is going to be critical. Otherwise, we may see some upsets.
And the Jayhawks' arch rival, Kansas State, will appear in our next game here in Orlando as they take on Tulane in the Southeast region. Joe Bard left alone and gets the friendly roll. He has 8. If he gets to 12, that's a great number for Florida State. When Dobart scores at least 12 points in his career, FSU is 34-3, and they're 14-0 this year when Rodney scores 12 or more. Pat Kennedy talked about Dobart's offense as a key yesterday because when he does score, they have to play him, and that opens up room for Edwards inside.
Indeed it does. Rodney Dobart, not known for his outside shooting, but great leadership out there on the court.
Just as Evansville makes a run, here come the Noles again. 12 points for Charlie Ward, and they push the lead back up to 18 with 13:40 remaining here in Orlando. Spear. Ryder, the shot altered by Dobart, who's blocked 5 already. That will alter a few shots. It's out of bounds off Evansville. Florida State ball.
That's exactly what happened. Knowing that Rodney Dobart is back there, able to tip or even change the shot inside, Parrish Casepier had to change it slightly, try to get it up over his hand so it wouldn't go back into the 6th or 7th row.
You had to look at Andy Elkins, who's come back into the ball game for Evansville. Ball, Elkins, Casepier, Hoopman, and Schreppler. The 5-some for Coach Cruz. Sura, Dobart, Cassell, Edwards, and Ward, the starting 5 out there intact for FSU. And a foul, a blocking call against Elkins. His second.
Foul is on number 31, Andy Elkins, his second.
Well, Evansville's been consistent from the floor, but that hasn't been good. Florida State had a fine first half, and they're 6 of 8 from the floor here in the second half.
Florida State's getting high percentage shots is what they're doing. The first half, able to get some steals and tip-aways and go down and get a lot of layups. Second half, they're doing pretty much the same thing. They're controlling the pace and the tempo of this basketball game, making good decisions, getting the ball in the hands of Charlie Ward.
Rodney Dobart today playing in career game number 119 for Florida State. That's more than any player in Seminole basketball history. And the lead is the largest it's been, 20. Make it 18 as Hoopman slams with authority.
You have to be impressed with the way Sasha Hoopman runs down the court. Able to get down before his defender, Rodney Dobart, can get there, and able to find the bottom of the goal as he does that.
That's from a man who missed the first 7 games of the year and virtually all of preseason practice with a stress fracture of his right ankle. The Seminoles turned it over. Sura couldn't handle the pass. 8 turnovers by Coach Kennedy's Chargers.
Pat Kennedy has so many offensive weapons. Doug Edwards hasn't even been a factor on the offense today, and still the Seminoles have close to an 18-point lead.
Casepier. Hoopman was fouled by Cassell. Derek, you make the point of all the weapons. Cassell is one of them for Florida State. You played on a Golden State team that won a championship and had a lot of weapons. Can you have too many weapons? Is there a time when there are too many guys who want the ball all the time and it's difficult to keep them happy?
Well, that's what we saw with Pat Kennedy's team early in the season because Charlie Ward was out of the lineup. Now that Charlie is back, he actually helps to stabilize. He gives that calming effect to this basketball team. When you have so many weapons, you need someone out there to neutralize that, distribute the basketball, make everyone else better. That's what Charlie Ward does.
Cassell to the bench, replaced by Derek Carroll. Sasha Hoopman is at the line. Cassell goes to the bench with 3 personals. Hoopman 0 for 4 from the line. There's a violation.
Shoot it again.
I think Coach Cruz realizes that Sasha is pressing a bit at the stripe now.
The coaches work very hard daily. You and I saw him yesterday. They work constantly with Sasha Hoopman on his concentration on offensive moves as well as his free throws, and hopefully it will come around for him. He's struggling big time at the line.
He hopes to play in the NBA next year. He said he'd like to go to camp and at least try out for a team. Certainly he'd be viewed as a project at the next level.
That's a big heart. I've seen him a couple of times this year, and very hard worker.
Sura, the acrobatic scoop that didn't hit much, and the crowd groans as Florida State will keep it. Well, there are some folks here in the state of Florida cheering for the underdog Aces, as you heard the loud groan.
Ball was actually tipped out of the hands of Sasha Hoopman by a Florida State player.
Edwards rattled it in. He got up looking for a foul as Casepier was right in his face. 20-point lead for Florida State, under 12 minutes remaining here in Orlando. Movement. Ward going to handle the pass. Ball to defender. Sura.